In the headlines, the number of cancer-related deaths causing growing concern ahead of the observance of World Cancer Day. A dozen charitable organizations receive over $23,000 in donations from the Social Security as the DSS observes its 45th anniversary. And the self-employed wanted to take their Social Security contributions seriously as it is not voluntary. I'm Andrea Louis with the Channel 5 News, back with the details after this.
We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid, but there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. We're in this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
Thank you for staying with us. First up, growing concern on the number of cancer-related deaths in the country ahead of the observance of World Cancer Day. President of the Dominica Cancer Society, Yvonne Alexander, says while the country can be applauded for not having any COVID-19 related deaths, more assertive action needs to be taken to reduce cancer-related deaths.
In the midst of the COVID and the fact that we are all very pleased that Dominica can pride itself in not having had anyone who died as a result of COVID-19. The fact is, I think almost every month from the time COVID reached our shore, there has been a death from cancer. You know, it is something that is of concern to us. It continues to be of concern that some individuals succumb to cancer-related illnesses within months of being diagnosed.
The public is being implored to take their health seriously and play their part in detecting cancer in its early stages.
We want to encourage individuals to stop waiting to have a symptom before submitting yourself to have just an annual medical checkup. You know, find out from your doctor, are there blood tests that I can do to see if there are cancer cells in my body? Because there are such tests. If you're a woman, do your breast self-examination, have your mammograms done, do your pap smears. If you're a man, do your prostate cancer screening. Do not wait to feel ill, because by the time you feel unwell, it means something is in an advanced stage. So this is what I want to leave the public with, that while we've not had any deaths from COVID, the number of people dying from cancer-related illnesses continues to rise in Dominica. It is of concern to us, and so we are asking everyone to take responsibility for your health.
Dominica will join the global community in observing World Cancer Day on 4th February. In other top stories, charitable organizations caring for the elderly and the youth formed the core of recipients of over $23,000 in donations from the Social Security on Wednesday. The donations formed part of the Social Security's 45th anniversary activities this week.
As have been done over the course of the last several years, the DSS board continues on an annual basis to set aside a small portion of its administrative budget for the purpose of making a financial contribution to the work of a number of charitable organizations and the causes who are themselves intended on making a positive difference in the lives of the clients and the patron that they serve. Hence, today's presentations of donation continues to demonstrate the DSS takes this responsibility very seriously. Its corporate responsibility and its role in engendering social cohesion within our society. This takes a special significance in the era of the coronavirus, when we have seen a decline in our contribution income, particularly the hospitality sector, and at the same time, the need for the country to maintain some resemblance of normalcy.
Representatives of 11 out of a group of 12 charitable organizations received checks ranging from $1,000 to $3,000.
The Maho Senior Citizen Home, St. Jerome's Ministry, House of Hope, Social Center Model Preschool, Cause in Portsmouth, Chances, the Alpha Center, the Dominica Infirmary, Grotto Home for the Homeless, Dominica Association of Persons with Disabilities, last but not least, the Education Trust Fund. I expect that the representatives of these various organizations will in their turn better testify to the impact the institution contribution has on the ability to effectively fulfill their respective missions. Even so, I venture to suggest, without fear of contradiction, that in the context of today's activity and in terms of the various investment initiatives that the DSS has undertaken, as well as the continued timely and accurate payment of the various benefits that it's mandated to pay, the Dominica Social Security continues to touch the lives of Dominicans, thereby fostering economic and social well-being.
The Northern District Home for the Aged in Grange in Portsmouth will receive some much-needed enhancements on Saturday.
They are not here this morning because this year they're receiving their donation in kind with a bonus. A bonus because management and staff are going there on Saturday to give the place a much-needed facelift. So we're giving them an in-kind donation, and the staff and management are going to be involved directly in the painting of the building, and we also had to enclose the balcony of the building to make it safer for the residents of that home. So we want to thank all of you for what you're doing.
In related news, they have different historical backgrounds and operate under varying circumstances, but all recipients of financial assistance from the Dominica Social Security on Wednesday are in need of one thing. The checks they received are expected to make a difference in their operations, which mostly rely on donations.
We really appreciate the donation, and whilst everybody always says it comes at a very timely time, in our case it is very timely. Just this month, just gone, we had trouble paying all our staff, had to make arrangements to transfer from a building fund that people gave us money to do some repairs. We're not able to do repairs yet, so we transferred so that we could make it. So we are sort of a bit in tight financial straits, which organizations go through from time to time. No doubt the COVID and the decline of a lot of business has reflected in donations I give. So we thank you so much for this particular donations and the fact that every year you have been consistent in remembering those in need. We thank you again, and I'll just take the opportunity to thank you for the very efficient way Social Security operates, which I've mentioned in some of my writings from time to time.
I must say thank you, because the Social Center has been in existence since about the 1950s. And it is a non-government organization running about 4 different programs right now. So I must say, running a program like that, programs like that, with no funds or low funds, we can well imagine. And since 1950s, the social center has started. So we can well imagine how we have to work hard to sustain these programs at the social center. So I would like to say a big thank you to the Dominica Social Security for selecting us. And we'll do our best. We'll continue to do our best. We have been reaching out to people, right? As I said, no funds, but we are still reaching out, because if you give, it will come back to you in full measures. And I'm encouraging people to pay their contributions, because in the long run, you never know what the future will be. In the long run, we can fall back on something. We can fall back somewhere at the Dominica Social Security.
Most of the donations were made to institutions caring for those individuals who, in their prime, helped establish the Social Security through their contributions.
May I say that 45 years in existence, 45 years not tiring to help the less fortunate, that should tell us a lot. Some previous speakers said it's the nenen and the powing. I want to say what they do is like throwing out lifelines. Nobody wants to die, everybody wants to live. And all they do is to help us to live and help us help others to live. But we too should know we have a part, we have a role to play in helping them so they can continue to help us. And one of the ways I think in which we can do so is by encouraging others, especially the young people. Help them see the need to invest, to contribute. The stronger they grow, the more they will be able to give us.
DSS has been a benefactor of DAPD for several years, and by virtue of this, we regard you as one of our associate members, honorary associate members. Presently, we are undertaking expansion and upgrading works on our development center on Canal Lane, which is expected to end within the next 3 months. Soon thereafter, we will be getting ready for its reoccupation and the resumption of normal operations. This donation here today is timely because it will go towards assisting us in preparing for this reoccupation and resumption of duties. And we just want to say thank you, a big thank you to the Dominica Social Security, and I do that on behalf of the Board of Directors and members, and to tell you that we will ensure that the work of DAPD continues and that persons with disabilities will be served to the best of our ability.
Social Security continues to invest in the youth, recognizing that the future sustainability of the fund rests in the hands of the younger generation.
We deem Social Security to be our godmother, our nenen, because at the Education Trust Fund, we take care of the children. Education is important, and we want to ensure that every child in Dominica whose parents are unable to assist them fully to attend a learning institution, we are there to pick up the slack. And so when your mother is unable to take care of you, you know it's always your nenen or your pawe that is always there. So Social Security, you all are our nenen at the Education Trust Fund, and we want to wish you a long life, and we look forward to continue getting this donation in order that we can help the parents of children who are unable to fully educate their children. We do not want to see any child on the roadside. We do our best as directors as well on the board to ensure that every child we can assist, we do that. And in so doing, we spread in the bread. Parents give 50% and we give 50% to assist the children. Once more, happy 45th anniversary.
In more developments, growing disinterest in the construction sector being cited as one of the main challenges to the industry. Julian Morris explains.
The construction sector suffered a setback last year, as with every other industry, due to the COVID-19 pandemic. As things returned to normal, so did work on construction projects by local contractors. However, President of the Builders and Contractors Association, Anthony LeBlanc, says the increasing lack of interest among local artisans and the wider public is hurting the industry.
There's a current of apathy within the Dominican society that we have tried hard enough and we have not succeeded. It's a kind of fall back and die scenario that needs to be dispensed with, because it doesn't augur well for the sector. You'll find that you organize training sessions, for example, and people don't turn out to develop themselves because they don't think there's any good in continuing to learn the trade, because there's nowhere to apply it. There's no venue. You find it's a challenge to have organize events because people don't turn out or think that they're wasting their time, because then again it's no more my livelihood. I have to find a new livelihood. So this type of apathy is rampant, and it makes it very difficult as BCAD to continue to work.
The outflow of skilled workers from Dominica to other countries remains a concern to BCAD.
Yeah, it is still a concern to BCAD. Because there are still people who live. There are still people who live. But there's also the issue of our aging employees retiring and no qualified person to replace them, because our education system does not produce any more good technical persons. Over the last 20 years, technical education have been put under the table. And we have been trying to work with the college, and it seems that they're more willing to work now than they were in the past. So that's a light in the tunnel. So we're hoping that we can have an upsurge of persons who are technically qualified.
The BCAD president points out that several past issues will continue to affect performance in the construction sector.
Some of the challenges of last year are going to continue. We still have to deal with COVID-19. As you know, construction is a contact business. Our employees contact each other in close proximity. The 6 feet distancing doesn't always work. It's not always practical. So we have to be vigilant for our employees. And we have to be vigilant as nationals. We don't want to spread COVID-19 more than people want it to be spread. So we have COVID-19. We have the past issues of trying to make sure that the local market is also available for local contractors. Right now, it's not, especially the public sector local market.
You are watching the Channel 5 News. Stay tuned for more after the break.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD, all for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid. But there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. We're in this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
Welcome back. Legal officer at the Dominica Social Security, Celia Deloney, has encouraged the self-employed to maintain their contributions to Social Security, thereby helping to secure their future. Deloney spoke on Wednesday during the launching of 2 videos released by the Dominica Social Security to commemorate its 45th anniversary since its establishment.
2 of the beneficiaries that you will hear from are persons who in the prime of their lives suffered unforeseen events which radically changed the course of their lives. As one of them put it, in the blink of an eye, life changed. Fortunately, they were, and still are, covered under the umbrella of the Dominica Social Security and receiving their benefits without fail. We do not know what lurks around the corner to confront us. So if you're not yet a contributor, please do yourself a favor. Register, contribute, participate, get protected. And I make this appeal to get on board, especially to self-employed persons. One of the beneficiaries that you will see was a self-employed individual who had the wisdom, the foresight to register and make payments consistently. Today, he can sit back and be assured of an income. Now, many believe that participation in the program by self-employed persons is voluntary. And I want to debunk that widely held belief. The self-employed regulations make the provisions provide for mandatory payment of contributions by self-employed persons. And I foresee that in time to come, these provisions will be enforced. And so before that happens, I urge all farmers, all fisher folk, all lawyers like myself, bus drivers, doctors, gardeners, all self-employed persons who are not participating in the program to come on board. Protect yourselves.
And the calls for stronger legislation on the use of pesticides and fertilizers to protect the country's people and food source. Dura Morris tells us more.
Chief Pesticide Inspection Officer Joseph Blandford made the call during a ceremony to introduce 8 pesticide inspectors to the country. Blandford says Dominica has made progress in phasing out the more harmful pesticides and fertilizers. However, more needs to be done, he says, to ensure farmers get on board with proper pesticide practices to ensure a safe food source for the consumers.
Yes, there is the need for strengthening of our legislations to deal with some of those concerns that we have. But more importantly, we have to educate our farmers. We have to educate them as to the use of those, not only pesticide, fertilizers, every stage of our operation, and also training, because we have younger farmers, we have the Haitian population that are among us now, we have some Spanish and others, and their methods of operating is sort of different from our own. They're used to using certain chemicals in terms of the production system. We also have to, get them integrated into our system of production and the do's and don'ts, and put system in place to ensure that they follow the steps and the guidelines that are in place for food production to make it safe for human consumption.
Blandford says penalties under the Act of 1975 are not strong enough to deter farmers from engaging in improper farm practices. He believes the legislation of the harmonized pesticide bills will give the inspectors enough teeth to do their operations effectively.
The penalty in the Act is minimal. It is not really, and I don't feel it, that's my honest opinion, it is not strong enough to deter the person for the serious nature of those particular pesticides. For example, if a person would take an empty pesticide, a class 1 container with some residue of the pesticide in it, and you go to a stream, it can kill a lot of your aquatic life. It can kill your animal. It can even kill you, depending at what stage you ingest whatever, if it is in a water source, before it gets over diluted, it can even kill you. So it is serious enough. So there is need for strengthening of those legislation.
Farmers and others who work with pesticides have been commended for their compliance with the advice of agriculture officials, but Blandford says more needs to be done to protect their safety as well.
At the moment, a lot of those situations are voluntary compliance. You talk to them on certain things, and it is voluntary. It is voluntary. For example, you have persons who are engaged in a sales shop where pesticides are being sold to the general public, and the act in itself does not mandate an annual medical or compulsory annual medical for those persons that are exposed to those pesticides. Okay, it is still something that you encourage them that they should do, because if you have a healthy worker, the worker will be more productive and that sort of a thing. So I'm saying there is need for upgrading and strengthening of our legislation. This 1975 Act that we have, we're in the 21st century, almost on the dawn of the 22nd century. We can't be talking about 1975.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
Strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid, but there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. We're in this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD, all for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
To end the news, the headlines again. The number of cancer-related deaths causing growing concern ahead of the observance of World Cancer Day. A dozen charitable organizations receive over $23,000 in donations from the Social Security as the DSS observes its 45th anniversary. And the self-employed want to take their Social Security contributions seriously as it is not voluntary. Feel free to access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Andrea Louis, and to all of our viewers around the world, thank you so much for watching. Join us tomorrow.